Panther family, what is going on? I am incredibly honored to have the guy on tonight that I do. This guy is not only a Georgia State legend, but really just a legend in the state of Georgia in general, as he was a five-star recruit coming out of Walton High School. Shout out Raiders, shout out Dave Cohen as well. But this guy is a legend. I'm super excited to have him. Not only is he an incredible human being, but an incredible basketball player as well. And I'm super honored to have him on and hear his story a little bit tonight. So I don't think he takes much introduction for the Panther family. This is Mr. Ryan Harrow. He was a two-time first All-Sun Belt for us, helped us win a conference championship, and just put up some monster numbers while he was here. So could not be more honored to have him on, man. Thank you again for coming on. I know I thanked you a bunch off air. But yeah, man, we'll go ahead and get into the interview. First question I got for you is a question that everybody gets asked, and for someone like yourself, I'm definitely a little interested to see what your answer is. But what was your favorite part or favorite memory? I mean, either one kind of works here, but what was your favorite part of being a Georgia State student athlete? And really why I think yours is going to be such a good answer is because you were a student athlete at two other schools as well. So you kind of know the difference of like what it is to be a Georgia State student athlete.
Part about being a Georgia State student athlete is that I'm actually so it was kind of a different feel with me going in from Atlanta. I actually didn't know what to expect when I because at NC State and Kentucky they take their sport. I knew like people knew who I was when I was going to a school like that, but when I was coming to Georgia, I didn't know what to expect, and I got there and like people knew me. The campus, even my teammates, me and Rashad Richardson, that was while I was at Georgia State, and he tells this story every time that he didn't believe until I actually was in the locker room, and he was like, "Oh man, like you," and I was like, "Yeah, man, like I'm here," and we just got so much love from the first game to the last game I played. It was always just so much support. Everybody in the city, the fans, the loyal fans that had been fans, that everybody just showed me great love while I was there. So I really appreciate I was at State.
Awesome, man. I love to hear that. And that's funny. Your buddy saying like, I'll believe it when I see it. And then he walks in the locker room and sees you. That's pretty funny. That's awesome though, man. Like you kind of said, I think you were kind of right for the expectation of like, maybe I won't be as known on campus because it's, not as big of a sports school, but, at people in Atlanta, remembered you, I guess, from your Walton days, and, we're excited to have you back home, man. So that's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. So yeah, that's a good little segue into our next question, because as I've said previously, you were not only a legend at Georgia State, but also at Walton High School as well, which is where I graduated as well. You won a bunch of awards there, like Georgia Gatorade High School Player of the Year and many other things like that. But as you just mentioned, you did end up leaving the Peach State and going to NC State. So what really was the motive behind that decision of kind of leaving home a little bit? And is there anything that, looking back on that, I'm not implying it by any means, but is there anything you may regret by, that decision with looking back on it?
I definitely regret, leaving the city, because North Carolina was like my second high school there for a little bit, living with my sister in North Carolina. And I had got my scholarship so early from NC, only in the 10th grade. I think I was like 5'4", 5'6". So once I got the scholarship, I was like, yeah, this is where I'm going. It's in the It's I'll take that. But when I think back on it though, I think it would have been smart for me to go to Georgia State. Right out, I probably would have killed that conference right out the gate, and then I probably would have, got more looks at the league because I would have been some of what I was when I finished up. Um, but I definitely enjoyed my time in Kentucky, but I played my best basketball and I was most happy, with my at Georgia State. So I always just think, man, if I would have just to Georgia State out of the gate, it could have been different. And Georgia State didn't even recruit me. Coming out of high school because already committed as a sophomore. So a lot of schools after that, and I may have got like one or state, and that was it.
I got you. Hey, that makes all the sense. I can't blame you, man. If I would have been a sophomore in high school and got an offer to, like you said, an ACC school, I probably would have accepted it too. So, I don't blame you on that one. And I mean, like you said, it sounds like it wasn't anything that, you'd necessarily regret. It's just, looking back on it, maybe sure it would have been a little better if you did start at Georgia State. So I understand you on that one.
Sure.
And I do think it's funny you say that Georgia State didn't recruit you. It probably was because you already committed, but I don't know. Ron Hunter really went after 5-star recruits in the city. Maybe he left those to the bigger schools. I don't know.
I don't even think while I was in high school, I don't think it's even there yet. I think it was
Right. I think you're right. Actually, I think it was a different coach at that point.
Yeah, I think it was a different coach at the time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. So we'll kind of go down the career timeline of Mr. Ryan Harrow here. So you ended up transferring to Kentucky after your 1 year at NC State. You did have to sit out a year due to like the NCAA like transfer regulations and whatnot. You were that year you set off, you were part of a national championship team. So I mean, hey, you got a ring out of that. That's pretty cool. And the next season you put up really impressive stat lines and like super meaningful games and these huge conference clashes against Vandy and South Carolina and whatnot. So Kentucky is got to be, when it comes to college basketball, kind of the Alabama of it. You know what I mean? Like that's a top dog program. So kind of walk us through your time at Kentucky and what it was to be like a Kentucky basketball player, and how that kind of impacted you as not only like as a player, but also as a person.
Man, Kentucky is like to put it is like baby NBA. Like we just we're great for real. I got there the first year after I transferred from NC State. I knew a good class was coming in. I knew Anthony Davis was coming in. I had him play, but I had heard of him. I knew Michael Kidd Gilchrist and Marcus Teague, like I always play before. Then the kids that they already and Terrence Jones, those guys were my year. So I entered, and then that summer was the NBA low. It was a lot of basketball going on at Kentucky. Like the Thunder, their whole team came to play. LeBron James came out to play. Old Kentucky players like John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Ray Sean, like it was team won it that year because they were playing against all NBA guys their whole summer. The way that the practice gym is built at Kentucky practice gym, and then it's the girls practice gym right next to each other, and we were having open gym the UK boys against OKC, then UK boys against John and the old team, and we going back and forth from gym playing against each other. So when you play against those type of guys, you only have one thing to do, but a group. So that first year was crazy. Experience of Kentucky and seeing what the fans were like, because I heard that they were Yens, but I didn't actually know, because NC State, it's a good group of fans, but it quite like Lexington, Kentucky, and how they support, their school. That first year being on the team and just having to practice and watch those guys, they didn't lose but one time, I think the whole year, or twice, maybe the whole. So no losing these guys. Anthony Davis doing the group just meshing together and seeing how well that they played, and then they won championship. I was there for the game. I did get a ring, like you said, experience, and then me being season, I was excited. I was on the draft board because it was so many NBA scouts coming to our practices, so they saw from the practices this is how he is, and I went to a Adidas Nations camp that same year really well, and I was like, dang, this is, I'm about to play for Kentucky in the league. And then my father ended up having a stroke right before the season started. And it kind of rocked me a little bit, kind of threw my focus off, and you could tell early I hadn't played in a while. And plus, my dad had the stroke, so I was him and how he was doing. I went to go see him, and once you have a stroke, functions change if you don't get it, back right, and they're still not the same. It just played with my mind a lot that season that I did play, so I did enjoy, and we didn't do as well. So, after coaches sat me down, and they thought it would be best if I either put my name in the draft or closer to home to be with my dad. And luckily, coached him since I want to say first grade. Since the first grade, and he was at Georgia State, so it was like, okay, I'll come to Georgia, comfortable with you, if anything. Then LeBerry was telling me really shoot the ball. I had no clue who he was, and then I get on campus and they telling us, me and RJ playing together, we could. And I get to Georgia State, and I think we're one of the best teams. Georgia State, I don't know all the statistics and stuff like that, but we held one of the longest winning streaks. It was just a good match for sure.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, we'll get into your time at Georgia State here with the next question or so. But yeah, you guys definitely did some amazing things for sure. Cool. That's like you said with Kentucky, I can only imagine the rabidness of the fans and how different it had to be. And I've always called Alabama like NFL junior. So it's funny you called it NBA junior, because it is. It's basically the same thing, and that's crazy, man. Running those summer workouts and the open gyms with NBA players, that had to be just, I mean, once in a lifetime experience. That's crazy, man. That's cool though. That's cool. I'm laughing as I say, because don't get the exact same experiences at Georgia State, but it's it's still got its good parts. Yeah. So moving on to the next one, as we kind of were talking about, you ended up transferring again to Georgia State after 2 seasons at Kentucky due to, as you said, some health issues with your father. What did it really mean to be back home close to him again, and how did that help you on the court? Because as you were kind of getting at, you killed it at Georgia State. So was it because you were more comfortable knowing that you were near your father and, you were home with family and you could kind of have that peace of mind that comes with that?
Definitely the fact that I was closer to my dad and my mom, that played a big part. I'm a big family guy, but being able for my dad to just be able like that anymore after he had the stroke, and my mom and dad, they'll make the trip to every game, no matter where we're playing at. They could see me play, and he couldn't do that for my year at Kentucky. At the Georgia State, that he's like 10, 15 minutes away from the campus, so I could go see my mom every day and just make sure that they're good. But to be completely honest, I just knew I was coming from Kentucky to Georgia State, and I just don't want people. I wasn't good enough to play at Kentucky. It was just, I was having a tough time. Like, that's what people go through. I knew if you at the beginning of my time at Georgia State, I was scoring so much, it wasn't helping the team. But I was like, I have to salute the guy and just to make sure people know, like, yeah, I am Ryan Hood. Like, especially being back home, they saw me play when I was in high school, and they want them to think like, okay, he's done dropped off. From high school to college, really worked hard, and I kind of played with like a attitude on my show, not even a chip like I am, because I was upset that I had to leave Kentucky. Then I was kind of no disrespect. I think the Sun Belt Conference is a great conference. I heard about it. I was like, what is the Sun Belt Conference? I don't even know what this is. To kill this conference, I have to kill every game. And at first, I was scoring like high 20, wasn't winning. And I was like, oh man, like, all right, I'm doing good, but the team not winning, so everybody's gonna look at me like you're hurt. So the coaches sat me down like at a round table. He told me this isn't working, something had to change, and something that we had to meet, and we went on to win, I don't know, 17 or pro after that. And it was just like, dang. But to mesh with a new group of guys, because we had Asante was a really good point guard for our team. RJ could have went to school, but he was at Georgia State. Manny had just came from Virginia Tech, so he was a big time player. Kurt was from USC. Then you have Marcus Kreider on the bench, or TJ. Like that knew our roles, and we all got along together. We all was always laughing. So like that, I think that played a really big part, that we really liked as well as on the court, and we knew our roles, and nobody was like stepping on to win. Once we saw like we're good enough to beat everybody, we just wanted to win.
I got you. Yeah, no, you guys obviously ended up doing some incredible things that season, and man, it's, hey, you're not wrong by saying that the level of competition and and whatnot is a little bit of a step down in the Sun Belt. I think anybody being reasonable can accept that one. You know what I mean? You're going from Kentucky to the Sun Belt, so but yeah, man, that's crazy. I think that's kind of cool that you mentioned that you were putting up big numbers scoring wise, but you guys weren't winning, because in the game of basketball, there is more than scoring. And, if you want to be a complete player and a team player,
Right.
Your team is going to win more games because of that. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, and you guys obviously had an incredibly talented team with some of those transfers, and RJ even, ended up getting drafted. So, I mean, obviously, had some
Yeah.
real legitimate talent on that team. So, yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. So next question, we'll kind of go into a little more your time at Georgia State. I got to give you some flowers here. Your time at Georgia State was nothing short of incredible. You were a two-time first All Sun Belt, a Sun Belt champion. You still own the school record, 222 field goals made in a season, and we're a part of one of the biggest wins in program history, which I think everybody knows which one I'm talking about. So tell us about that special team that season and how it felt. And I guess part of my question is, you kind of already answered it. Did you guys know that you were going to be that good? Like, did you kind of realize in the room, like, hey, we got some killers on this team. We can do something serious here. So kind of walk us through what that season, I guess specifically that win streak. What exactly did that feel like when it kind of all came to a close?
Man, I don't even know what to say because like that was probably the best overall like team that I've played on. Cause like I said, everybody knew after a few games, everybody knew their role and they perfected their guys that started to the guys that were coming off the bench just to give us a few minutes, like coming on the court to do. And with that, that made it easier for me because like at first I thought I would have to like I have to do everything. You got to be the guy, and it just wasn't like that. Like I said, Devontae is a great point guard. He ran the team. He for the guys. He struggled at first, just like me, because I was coming out with the ball at first. Now we had to basically switch off who was gonna the decisions. And once we figured it out, like you know, I'm here just to relieve if you need help. That changed the aspect. If RJ hits one or two threes, then we're at the game because it could be something crazy. He could hit 12 threes if it was to happen, or if Manny's hitting shots, because Manny could shoot well. I think that was the team too. We could really shoot because Manny could shoot, Devontae could shoot, RJ shoot pretty well. Kirk could even step out and hit a little mid range if we had all these shooters. Then you bring in Shotty. He's a shooter. TJ do his rebound and dunk the ball. So we didn't have any guy. If I'm not scoring, then I'm not happy. It was just got this good group of guys. We have a talented group of guys, and I hate that I talk like this now, but I would just be like, man, you're playing against, like, they suck. So we're a good team. We work hard. We make life with Coach Hunter. So why not just, whatever we have built up, let's just take it out on the people that we playing against. And it showed. Like we was really killing people. It was like no, we was never played. We never worried because we just believed in ourselves and what we worked out for us, for sure.
Oh yeah. No, that's too funny, man. I know what you're saying when you're like, you don't like that. That's how you said it now, but you're like, come on, man, we're so much better than these guys we're going against. You know what I mean? So I feel you on that. And hey, you guys proved it. You know what I mean? 17 game winning streak and a Sun Belt championship. I think you guys ended up proving that one. So, so yeah, man, I pray we get another team like that here soon at Georgia State. I'm hoping Coach Hayes will give us one of those soon. So we'll see what happens. Um, cool. So we'll kind of, like I said, we'll go down the timeline. We'll wrap up your time at Georgia State. Now, this next question, I'm definitely very interested to kind of hear your answer on this one. So you did end up going undrafted in the NBA in 2015 when you wrapped up your time at Georgia State, but like a lot of players ended up going overseas and playing in Europe. So, kind of obviously, tell us about that experience and do you think your experience was similar to other guys that go over there? American players that go over there and play overseas. And also, one last question because I'm very intrigued on this. Did you end up ever playing against like a young European star that now is like a young European player that now is like an NBA star? Because I know like just for instance, Luca played like since he was like 16, right? So
Yeah.
did you ever play against one of those where you're like, wow, now that guy's in the NBA killing it? So I know that was a long-winded question, but I very intrigued to hear these. So
Um. So yeah, I did go undrafted and didn't get drafted. I was going to go somewhere overseas. I didn't know exactly where, but my first year, which I didn't know if it was a good league or not, but it leagues overseas. I went to a really bad team. Making it to the playoffs, I played really well my first year. Definitely was an experience friend who I met at Kentucky. She played at Kentucky as well. Together ever since. Have a child now, so she's been overseas with me. Both went to Greece my first year out, and it was definitely an experience. The apartment was crazy. It was like I didn't get paid the first 5 months while I was over there because like I don't have money to begin with. I'm just leaving college, so and I have to take with me. Um, but I ended up playing well that year. I got to go to Italy. Um, Played pretty well in Italy, but I through the season and moved to Poland. At that time, I was playing in Italy and then moved to Poland. My daughter was born in Poland. Played well in Poland. Got offered a big contract, but I didn't take my options. Ended up going to Lithuania. Lithuania was the place that I was living in. Lithuania was literally like this big. It was one grocery store, one basketball gym, one hospital, all on this one road. And I played, I think, 3 games, and I think I scored like 20 something in each game, and I called my be here. I think we need to find somewhere else. I ended up the same team that offered me the big contract for it would play well there again, and I leave there and I go to Greece. That year in Greece, I'm probably playing the best basketball of my life. I get offered a really, really big contract because I'm playing so well. Down again because I get with a new, which is LeBron's agency. I'm signed with them. I mean, you're playing so well that you're probably gonna get some NBA looks, some invites at least going to the camp before the real season. Like, cool. And then unfortunately, I have to have back surgery. Back surgery, which holds me out for a few months. And the back surgery didn't take, so I have to do back surgery again. So it keeps me out of within that back surgery time, COVID, everything shuts down. I can't rehab. I can't do anything. So that kind of hinders these altogether. Like they see that I'm not as healthy as I used to be, or not the player that I used to be. So get contracts. I end in Spain, but that hurt there. I go back to Greece on the same team. It I get then after that, it's like, man, I'm doing this for real, because I keep getting hurt in the politics. You know,
Yeah.
politics is everywhere, you know.
Right. Right.
So it's like a world, and I have my family with me too. So you just never know. I'm sorry. My daughter is calling me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
I think I might have lost your audio, Ryan. I can't hear you.
Well,
All right. So excuse for the little technical difficulties there, but we'll get Ryan out on this one. So Ryan, you know, we kind of went down the timeline, got to hear your story, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. But what are you up to these days, my man?
I'm back home now. I got my daughter in school. She's finally in school. My girlfriend has a job now, and I'm back in school at Georgia State, finishing up. Also, I've been training kids now. I still am getting offers to go back overseas, but I don't know if I want to go back overseas right now. So I just been training kids, and you know, trying to get settled back at home. I haven't been living at home in 8, 9 years. Now I'm usually overseas, so I'm just trying to get a schedule down and finish up school and kind of like start that next phase of my life. I like training the kids a lot, you know, sticking with basketball and stuff. So I think that'll be my little niche for right now, and we'll see.
Oh yeah, man. I love to hear it. Couldn't stay away from Georgia State, could you?
Nah, as soon as I came home, I was like, let me just go up there and see if I could finish up my school, and also, you know, be around the guys to see them practice and see how much different it is than when I was there and stuff like that. So I enjoy all of that.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, thank you again so much, Ryan. It was an absolute honor to have you on. And yeah, we'll have to keep in touch, man. It's a huge honor to get to know you like this.
I appreciate